are live on the Dawgs Table. I'm your host, Craig Fountain, here with my co-host, Ryan Angelo. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. Thanks for
Ex-
asking. It's been an exciting week for the Cleveland Browns for a couple different reasons. We're going to get into all that and more. We are brought to you, though, by Labatt Blue, and we are brought to you by Remax Edge Realty, the JC Group. We are part of Team Big Play. Make sure you check them out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you're not familiar with the show, we are a Cleveland Browns roundtable discussion show. And really, what we do is we give you the opportunity uh, to come on the show and chat with us or converse with us via the comments on Facebook and YouTube. So you can do that. If you comment, we can show you the comment just like this. Justin, this is Justin. Thanks for joining the show, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Yep. So on Facebook and YouTube, Twitter doesn't allow us to do that yet. So hopefully, along with the edit button, they give us that functionality soon. All right. So we did not do a weekly Twitter poll this week. I got caught slacking. That's okay. Craig, good to see you, Craig. Thanks for joining the show. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys give us a like or a share, especially if you're on Facebook. If you're on Twitter, give us a like and a retweet if you don't mind. We would certainly appreciate that. Craig says, "You ready for the season? Let's go. Clowney is back." That is super exciting. And we might as well lead off with that. And Ryan, we were talking before the show. What did you call this signing?
The what was it? The least
kept, the league's worst kept secret.
Yeah, the league's worst kept secret. Yeah.
And I think that even Myles Garrett was kind of hinting that maybe he knew this was coming. He retweeted something that he tweeted in back in April. This has probably been close to an agreement, if not already an agreement this entire time. There's a number of reasons why it could be like that. It could be on Clowney's end. He's always slow. It's not a secret. It would have been nothing for his camp to be like, "Hey, we're gonna do it. Just you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to take our word for it. We're gonna do it later." And if the Browns wanted him bad enough, and they did, they still got him. Now, reportedly, there was multiple teams ready to give him 14 to 15 million a year on multiple year deals, and he opted to come back to Cleveland for one season on, I believe it was 11 million. At least that's what was reported. So, I think that it's showing that man, I feel like a broken record because we've said this before and we've been wrong, but it feels like we're almost becoming a destination.
Be careful.
Be careful. Yeah. But he was willing to give us a discount. Yes. You got 11 million plus incentives. So, man, this is exciting. This is exciting to have Garrett and Clowney back together on the field at the same time. Elite bookends. It's going to be a blast to watch.
Big time addition for the defense.
Absolutely. So now the big question is, are they going to shore up that defensive tackle spot? If you read dogstable.com, our contributor Matt made a really valid case for not signing defensive tackle in free agency. So you'll have to go to dogstable.com and check out that article that was posted today. I have somebody down here in the dog pen. I'm going to post the link soon. For those of you that want to join the show, we're going to start a little earlier today, and we'll bring you guys in. You can click the link in the comments. Joe, thanks for joining the show. Don't say that yet. We are a more intriguing spot with the moves that AB made. Joe, thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Justin, if the QB works out, it could be a destination. Has to prove that it's not where QBs go to die.
That is over, sir. That is over.
That is over. We sure hope so. Barry, give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready to come in. All right, we have Barry. Let me get the camera sorted out here.
How are you, buddy?
I'm here.
Yep. So we got Barry. Thanks for joining the show. Craig Foster says, "Let's sign Sue." Listen, I am all for the go all in on the defensive line this year with aging veterans that still have something left in the tank. Ryan's shaking his head.
I
Give
want
me
it.
Sue. Give me Sue. Give me Hicks. I want the
everybody.
Clowney, Sue, Hicks, Garrett line. I mean, come on. There's a couple other guys that you could throw in there that I'd be super stoked about. We continue to add to the defensive backfield, which is great. That's taken care of. I want somebody like Sue mentoring Winfrey, and I know that Winfrey has kind of hitched his wagon to Myles Garrett, or at least he said that he has. Which is fine. He says, if Garrett takes a drink of water, I'm going to take a drink of water. If Garrett goes to the bathroom, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm doing everything that he does, but I would love for somebody like Sue to give this man wisdom, especially with somebody that has the attitude and plays with the violence that Sue had. And Sue struggled. We talked about this last week. Sue struggled to rein that in at the beginning of his career, and he got in trouble. So having somebody like that to mentor somebody with the ceiling that Winfrey has, I think would be crazy. I think it would be crazy. What do you think, Ryan? Are you on the go all in on the defensive line train?
I am. I've been clamoring for somebody at D tackle for a long time, almost as bad as I want somebody for a wide receiver. I think those are the two positions that they need to add somebody to, a veteran. Sue is a perfect fit if you think about it, because like you said, he's got the exact same style of gameplay that Winfrey does, and he's violent, uses his hands very well, is great against the run, still gets pressure up the middle. So, I mean, if you can add him to this defensive line, it's easily a Super Bowl caliber defensive line. That being said, is Andrew Berry going to pay what it's going to take to get him? I would pay whatever it took to get him, but the pessimist in me says that Berry's probably not going to pay it, and Sue probably wants to stay in Tampa, but we'll see. I mean, you never know. I would be happy with him or Hicks, but I definitely think they need to have at least one veteran in there to teach those guys.
What do you think it would cost to get him?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look at what he signed for last time. But I mean, I would pay double-digit millions for him. I mean, if I had to.
You think he's still worth that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he like the comment we just had. What, he hasn't missed a season or missed a game in 12 seasons. I mean, that alone is worth 10 million plus in my book. I mean, and plus you contribute and put up numbers on top of that. You can't go wrong in that situation, in my opinion. I mean, he's just so violent on the inside that, once they harness that talent, it's just fantastic. It would be an amazing addition to this defense, and I really hope it happens, but we'll see.
So according to Spot Track, double-digit millions would be a raise. The last time he made double-digit millions in a season was 2018 with the Los Angeles Rams. He played the last 3 years with the Buccaneers on one-year deals.
Okay,
they were all one-year deals. 9.25 million in 19, 8 million in 2020, and last year 9 million. So, and they were all fully guaranteed contracts at signing. So, to me, I'm with
10.
you, especially at that number. I mean, give him 9 or 10. I mean, if he hasn't signed with somebody yet, there may not even be that kind of competition for him or a market opening up for him. You may be able to get him around that 8 or 9 number. But now you just added a level of attractiveness to joining this defense. You have Clowney on one side, Garrett on the other. They're not the only ones that are going to be happy about this. These guys inside are going to be ecstatic as well. So that could certainly play a role. Red Leg, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate you jumping in. And Red Leg's a great fan of the show. All right.
Well, your defense starts up front. It starts at the defensive line. If your defensive line is getting pressure, causing covered sacks, things of that nature, it helps the rest of the defense, right? So you're running the running situation. If you can, shore up the middle of the defensive line, you're not getting gashed up the middle all season like they kind of did last year, or at least towards the end of the season. And then it also just helps, your secondary, like coverage sacks. If you can get pressure on the quarterback, or cause that quarterback to get the ball out quicker than he wants to, make bad decisions. It starts at your defensive line. If you have a solid defensive line, that's ideal. It's what you want. For me, it's where you build your defense from. Barry obviously doesn't feel that way as far as defensive tackle goes, but to me, if I was running a defense, I'd want solid defensive line and then build from that back.
All right. So I went ahead and put the link in the comments. Anybody can join the show. Bring something to the table, as we like to say. Come on with a question or a statement, something that we can talk about. As much as Ryan and I enjoy talking, this platform is not just for us. It is for everybody. We are a roundtable discussion show. So bring something to the table. Bring something you want to talk about, a statement, a question, anything. If you can't join or don't want to join, leave something in the comments for us, and we will address it there. All right. Baker Mayfield. All right. Baker Mayfield is not attending voluntary OTAs. You mentioned, Ryan, that the Clowney signing was the league's worst kept secret. This, I wouldn't say was a secret, but did anybody really expect him to show up? No.
I literally just had the same thought.
And he shouldn't. And he shouldn't. And last week I kind of spoke on this a little bit, and I'll reiterate. Baker Mayfield should not report to voluntary OTAs. He should not report to mandatory mini camp. He should not report to training camp. He should not ever put on a Cleveland Browns jersey again without a contract extension. It's bad for him. It's bad for his career. And frankly, it's not necessarily going to do us any good. That bridge is not just on fire anymore. It's burnt. It's burnt to the ground. There is no more bridge.
Yeah.
Do
either of you disagree with that?
No, I don't think so either. But what are we gonna do? Like, Yahoo just published an article 3 minutes ago, popped up on my phone. So the NFL's, and I've read it before, they're nearing the end of their investigation with Watson. So what are we going to do if the NFL comes out and throws a Watson suspension like the Major League did at Trevor Bauer? What if they go out there and they're like, hey, 2 years?
Yeah.
What are the Browns going to do? We don't have a quarterback.
No, we don't. And this was the downside to the situation. This was always a possibility. If something like that were to happen, and I don't know that we have any idea that it's going to go in one way or the other. Right. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had folks arguing 0 game suspensions. Like he was going to avoid a suspension. He didn't do anything wrong. Justin, I agree with you. And that's part of why I said that contract extension. There's no way he would go through with that. However, that would be the only reason he would ever have to put on a Browns jersey again. And he wouldn't do that. Back to what BJ was saying, though. Now we're wondering if he's going to have a 2-year suspension. I mean, consensus was somewhere in that 4 to 8 game range, 4 to 6, 6 to 8. I think that's what everybody was kind of thinking would happen. Or maybe somewhere in that range or a little bit more. And then with an appeal, maybe they would drop a couple. If he gets a 2-year suspension, the Browns just assume the risk that they knew they were taking on up front. And, one of the things that I haven't researched, and there's so much information floating around. Ryan, are you aware if they have to pay Deshaun Watson either way?
I know if he gets suspended this year, his salary is extremely low. I know it affects him not very much as far as financially goes. And I'm pretty sure the Browns are protected on that as well. But I mean, I know they guaranteed the whole contract, but I'm not exactly sure the financial side of it, or how it will shake out if he does miss an entire season. But I know he's protected financially.
So then you get, say he does get suspended 2 years. Okay. And this is probably worst case scenario. Now you got a guy coming back after 2 years that you just banked on that hasn't played football in 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. And it is only $1 million for this season. And we've kind of went over the structure before. So, but Barry and I were actually talking last night. We were sitting around the fire tossing back some cold ones and talking football. And, Barry brought up, does what happens with the Browns with that suspension? Do they still owe him that money? I'm pretty sure they do. So if he gets suspended for 2 years, the Browns are out $30 million, right? 30 plus, if I remember
No,
correctly.
I don't think so because when
No, because his salary this year is only $1 million. So what's the salary next year?
Next year.
Well, they're already out the signing bonus, right?
Right.
That's guaranteed. So you got that, and then but next year I think he gets suspended without pay. So I don't think the Browns have to pay him.
I don't think so either.
But
all right, next year his base salary.
Does he lose a year of his contract, or does his contract just get pushed back? How does that work?
You would have to imagine that the NFL contracts have a clause in there that state if you are suspended from the league, that there is a clause that essentially causes them not to have to pay you. I mean, I can't imagine that.
In a sense, the Browns are protected financially.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so.
His base salary each year after 2022 is $46 million. His dead cap next year is $219,972. His dead cap this year is $230 million. Okay, so all right, so Barry's got to go to the boo-boo bus. Yep. So, yep. Craig, that is exactly right. Red Leg, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come in. I see you down there. All right. How you doing, Red Leg?
Hey, what's guys up, buddy?
Hey, how are you guys today?
Oh, pretty good. How are you? What do you have to bring to the table?
Oh, man. The Browns either way, the Browns kind of strapped themselves with Watson for the money. They're in for this ride no matter what, I think. I mean, my understanding is still the contract's guaranteed, right? So
that's my understanding.
I don't think there's any escaping it. So yeah. Anyway, and also go back just a counterpoint a minute ago. Did anyone really expect Baker to show up to a voluntary OTA? I mean,
no. And that's why I'm saying, like, in not that anybody would expect him to. Some are arguing that he should be doing these things. They think that it's affecting his value as far as showing that he's a team player and stuff. I completely disagree with all of that. I don't think teams give a shit if he's showing up to voluntary mini camps. I don't think they care if he shows up to another team's OTAs or training camp. I don't think anybody can blame him or expect him to do anything other than what's going to happen, and that's going to be not showing up. There is no reason. And you know what? For the people that think that he should, you're looking at it through the lens of the Browns organization, not through the lens of Baker Mayfield. And this is a two-way street. Unfortunately, there was no way for them to meet in the middle on this. It's just not going to happen. Chris, to answer your question, there was reports this week that came out that the NFL is considering the Bauer suspension when considering the fate of Deshaun Watson. Was
it that they were considering it, or was it somebody that was stating that was a precedent that they could look at?
So that's where this reporting gets really, really kind of gray area. I don't want to say one way or the other because there was all sorts of things being said.
Right.
I would think that they're looking at it as a precedent, as far as like, okay, like if we feel strongly enough about this, we could say that the Bauer suspension was a precedent in professional sports. It's outside the NFL, but it's just kind of, at this point, it's hearsay, right? I mean, there were some pretty big names attached to these reports, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Trevor Bauer is also suing Major League Baseball because of that suspension. So I'm not sure the NFL wants to go through that. I think they want to rule on this and have it be dead and done, personally.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Bauer as a precedent for a case, the man has evidence showing consensual relationships for these women.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And it's just it's wild.
But is that the scary part though, that he got 2 years for something that was consensual? I mean, that could be the scary part, right? I mean, I don't think the MLB cared if it was consensual or not. I don't think it's about whether it was right or wrong. I think it matters to them from a public relations perspective. Maybe Ryan, do you disagree?
No, I just think it's two different animals. I know the cases are similar, but I think MLB and NFL's they're just completely different. I mean, the way Goodell runs his company versus the way the NFL or the MLB is run, it's kind of a mess if you think about it. I just to me, it doesn't feel the same. Like, I know that the cases are similar, but I just don't think that that's a precedent that they're going to look at. I think it's just something that was put out because people love to talk. Probably heard it in a circle somewhere and wanted to put it out there as a piece of clickbait. I just don't see it as a reality. I think it's going to be swift. I think it's going to be quick. And I'm going to stick to the 6 to 8 games. That's what I think it's going to be. But we'll see. It's going to come soon. They've said today on Twitter that Goodell said that they're pretty much at the end of the investigation, and we already knew from reports prior to them meeting with Watson that they usually wait until the end for the offender to be interviewed. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to stick to the 6 to 8 games, and I'll say that it's a done deal. They shake hands behind doors and it's over with.
Yep. The NFL doesn't want this anymore. The NFL never wanted in the first place. The quicker they get it done, the better. There's no saving face. There's no positive side to any of this in any way. The NFL just wants to be finished and let the man do his punishment. Let him perceive he got punished appropriately by at least someone, and then move on.
That is a very good point, Joe.
Yeah. So Joe is asking, do you think the amount of games in each sport matters? That's an interesting question, Joe. That's a very interesting question. He says it's apples versus oranges. And what he's alluding to is the number of games played in a season. All right. So Deshaun Watson is going to, presumably, if he's not suspended, there's 17 games in an NFL season. What is there in Major League Baseball? There's
162?
100, yeah.
Yeah, 150 or 160 games, something like that. So, that's different. That being said, your game checks are probably a little bit different in the MLB too. But 180, okay. That was higher than I thought it was.
That's to me, that just shows how big of a bombshell that suspension was. I mean, it's crazy to me. Like, I couldn't believe it came down as large as it did. But again, like he said, Joe's put in the comments, apples to oranges. I think that's the way to look at it. NFL has never looked to any other league for help or assistance or precedent or anything or guidance, in anything that they've done. So it's just not in the DNA.
All right. I went ahead and posted the link in the comments again in case it got buried on any of the platforms in the comments. You can click that link and come on the show just like Red Leg did. It's nice and easy. Don't be scared. The link looks just like this, StreamYard.com, and come on in. Bring something to the table. All right, so we talked about Jadeveon Clowney. We talked about Baker Mayfield. Red Leg, anything else in the news this week or anything about the Browns catch your eye? Or
I missed the first portion, so I'm not sure if this has already been covered. But did you guys see the cyber sleuth with the Baker Mayfield Instagram post where the field trip to Seattle?
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you guys talked about that or not, but I thought that was interesting. But
impromptu, right?
Yeah.
And the Seattle Seahawks cut a quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
shocker.
All right. Joe, give me a thumbs up down there when you're ready to come in, and I will go ahead and bring you in. Joe's coming in. He's going to have the most epic beard on the show now. Sorry, Ryan.
Damn it.
Hey, Joe, how's it going? Are you ready?
Look at that beard.
Yeah, I'm here. I think so. Yeah, here I am.
Hi, Joe.
No,
so you were commenting a lot on the suspension stuff. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I'm just to make this quick because I got to give my daughter a bath. But the suspension stuff, in my opinion, is like I was saying before. Is Trevor's very outspoken about issues with MLB. He's talking about arbitration, money, all these things, and I'm sure they don't want to hear that kind of stuff. Where NFL players usually kind of keep their mouth shut with that kind of stuff. I mean, when it comes to their money and stuff like that, it's apples to oranges when comparing that kind of stuff. And I think was it Ryan
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Ryan said that, Goodell runs, he runs the ship, and that's the way he does it. And there's, he doesn't look for outside help. He doesn't look at the other leagues or anything like that. It's his ship and he steers it. He comes down with it. I think he's learned over the years that he can't, rule too early on issues and stuff like that with, for instance, the running back with the Ravens a couple of years back. So like, he made early call on that one and the video surfaced of him, in the elevator and, that looked bad.
Yeah.
So I think now he takes his time, gets, all the, information that he can get and, makes a ruling and, talking to obviously Deshaun and, all that stuff, he's
also, that's Justin. He wants to know what marathon your shirt is from.
Florida.
Marathon, Florida. My father-in-law got this for me about a couple months ago. They're SPF shirts and they're fucking awesome.
All right, there you
Sorry,
go.
don't know if I can swear.
That's all right.
Too late now.
Censored. Where's the censor button at, Craig?
Right. Where's the bleeps?
Can I just say I love running bald man's Justin's little guy in his profile picture here.
Yeah.
He's running on a treadmill.
Bald guys got to stick together.
We haven't seen Justin in a while. Justin has that purple Baltimore Ravens room that he
claims
we give him
it's
shit
for
about.
calming
Yeah,
and not the Ravens.
right. But yeah, all right. So as Redleg was saying, there was an impromptu trip and the cyber sleuths, the social media detectives were on the case this week. I don't know if they were plane tracking. Man, that's so I can't believe we have plane
he's
trackers.
not using the company plane anymore. I don't know if they can track that.
I know they what they said was they found some logo, and also I saw some other kind of rumor mill that the private, speaking of private plane, that the private plane trip was actually to Texas to talk to Baker as opposed to a talk with Watson. And I was like, yeah, maybe, but I just that's the other side of the coin there.
But was it his wife that let it out of the bag that they were in Seattle for an impromptu trip? They were taking photos and things like that, putting them on Instagram. Yeah, impromptu.
Oh no, a logo's right behind us.
Right. We went to Seattle for vacation. We, I don't know what else they would be doing in Seattle, but all right. Thanks for joining the show, Joe. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Joe. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, Joe's been a long-time viewer as well. Just to address this, because it's in the comments, Wes says today is a very sad day for us. All 18 kids and 3 adults now confirmed dead. This is a very tragic event. It's a very tragic event. It's a very sad thing that happened. There's going to be a lot of information that's going to come out about this. I'm sure we'll see what happens. I'm not an expert in this matter, so we won't do any reporting on it. But I'm sure that there will be quite a bit of coverage on social media for this and on the news. So everybody's got their opinions. Try to be respectful of each other. This is it's inevitably going to turn into a politics conversation, but just remember, the ones that lost their lives when you're talking to folks. So, all right. So I don't know how to come back from that, but it was in the comments, so I felt the need to address it. But
in other news,
it's really kind of a slow news cycle right now. There's not a whole lot going on. Everything is really like speculation or rumors.
Reckless speculation.
Browns going 17-0, baby.
Yeah.
Listen, Twitter was intense today. I don't know who pissed in Twitter's Cheerios this morning, but Twitter was intense even before this tragic thing happened. I should have just stayed off Twitter today. Tomorrow's going to be even more interesting because HBO tonight is airing, I believe, interviews with 2 of the Deshaun Watson accusers. I don't have HBO, so I'm going to have to figure out how to watch that. Go figure it. I just canceled it. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of fallout happens. So that's something that we'll keep our eyes on. Do you guys have anything else that you want to bring to the table? It's kind of a slow news cycle, so we may end up cutting today's show a little bit short.
They cut kind of surprised they cut Felix Harper so quickly. I saw that. Oh, and kind of along other quarterback news, the mini camp last week. Do y'all? I don't know if y'all talked about it or not, but Jake Fromm was doing that too. I was kind of surprised to see him there.
So that transaction kind of flew under the radar. Like it must have gotten buried whatever day that got reported. I found out about it on TikTok because I was on TikTok and I was scrolling, and most of my TikTok is either like sports or just comedians. And I was scrolling on TikTok, and the Cleveland Browns social media team posted a video. They put these questions up. I believe it was it like, if you didn't play your current position, what other position would you play, or something like that? And I saw Jacob Fromm. I'm like, man, like, when did that happen? Why is he at these workouts? Like, I had no idea he was on the roster.
Yeah.
Did he end up getting, did he get signed? I know he tried out. I was looking for confirmation that he was on the roster, and all I could find was that he was getting a tryout.
I don't think I saw anything.
I just saw some big quarterback throwing the ball. I'm like, who is that dude? And I said, it's Fromm. That can't be Jake Fromm. I'm like, oh my God, he's with the Browns right now. I have no idea. It's just weird. So
yeah, I don't know. There was, and then I don't know if it was the last week or the week before, we signed like 3 guys and cut them the next day. So I'm not sure what they're looking for. If they were just trying to get a quick look at them, and it didn't work out. And right now, I believe they set it up. Some of what's fueling the rumor mill when it comes to like free agency and stuff, or potential trades, is the fact that we, with that cut, we actually opened up a roster spot. So we're at 89 right now, which means that some people are thinking that we wouldn't have an open roster spot unless we were planning on using it, unless something was imminent.
Well,
so
didn't we just sign a tight end today too, as well?
We did.
Yeah, I call me crazy, but I think our tight end room is already nearly set. It's weird to me that we're pursuing guys like this. It's weird. I mean,
I will say, keep in mind that it's the time of year, right? So the time of year, we're so early in the season right now that they're playing the numbers game. They're getting quick looks at people. I will say that I'm on the same side of this. Is like, I don't get the whole signing guys one day and then dropping them the next. Like, I don't see what that does for the team or for that person, but I don't know if it's like a quick payday for like, hey, here's your $40K for being here and trying out. Thanks, we appreciate it. And then, the next day we're going to let you go or whatnot. But it is that time of year. There's a lot in flux. They're trying to get the roster, and the roster is just continuously moving. So I wouldn't look too far into those, the practice squad guys or the roster fillers. They are what they are, and every team does it. It's just interesting how it goes down, honestly.
So what do you guys think with this Baker being in Seattle thing? I mean, that right now is still the most likely destination for him.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's gotta be, they're the best situation for him to go into. I never really thought Carolina was going to do it just because they have Darnold. They invested in Darnold. I know that, he's not exactly what they were hoping he was going to be, but what are you going to do with him?
They're in the same situation. They're in the same situation. They owe him the same amount of money. It's that same 5th-year option,
right?
That they're going to have to pay him if they don't use him.
Right. That situation just never made sense to me. I know they were speculated a lot and the rumors and all that, but I've always thought it was kind of Seattle that really stuck out as the best situation. I mean, they got like Geno Smith and who's it? Drew Lock. Yeah. So, I mean, if Baker can't start over those two, then I don't know what to tell you. But
I don't think Baker's going to have trouble winning that job. I don't even know if that would be called a competition.
No.
And there's still a large group of people out there. I know a lot of people have trouble escaping the Cleveland Browns social media bubble, but there is a large percentage of people out there that still think that Baker Mayfield is a starting caliber quarterback. Some think even more highly of him than that. Some people still think he's a top 15 or a top 10 quarterback. if he realizes his potential and his ceiling. So it would not shock me to see a team like Seattle take a chance on him. And and really, what do they have to lose? And you give them guys like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I think that'll help him out a little bit. I love Landry and I love Odell Beckham Jr., but he needs guys that can either get open or don't quit.
Right.
You guys can take that for what it's worth. I'm not bashing Landry, but I mean, I probably shouldn't have said that out loud.
I mean, something I found really interesting over this past, the Baker whole issue is you get, you have fans who watch the game, either the guys in the Baker camp, the anti-Baker camp, the guys somewhere in the middle, men, women, whoever, doesn't really matter. But this has been going on long enough now that we're starting to see revisionist stuff and content pop up, like for Baker stuff, right? So I was watching a video the other day on YouTube, and there's a guy saying this is why Baker's a terrible quarterback, and he specifically showed like the Christmas game where he had 4 receptions, right? But there's no context about missed, of course, what we as fans think is at least two missed calls that should have been called as interference or something like that, and it's just starting to be like, okay, yeah, that's the lack of context. Does no one benefits, whatever. I think Baker's gonna be a starter somewhere. He's that caliber quarterback, and if he weren't, the Browns would have gotten rid of him sooner, right? They have a history. We have, as a franchise, we have a history of going to quarterbacks like nothing. Right. So we have a guy, start and stay in the team for a long time. They like the system. They like him. He adjusted. He did everything they needed him to do, and then decide to upgrade. And then it's just, yeah.
If you think about it this way, there's all the speculation about, teams are looking to punish the Browns, or owners are looking to punish the Browns, sure, or people aren't trading for Baker because of how much he whines, or, he's done this or this to make himself look bad. It's all speculation. We don't know that. They don't know that. The real honest to God truth of the situation is they don't have to get rid of him yet. He's an asset that they can hold on to until they want to get rid of him. And I truly believe that this whole situation is all about the money. I think that there's been casual conversation between the Browns and other teams where, hey, we'll take him, but we don't want to pay him the $18 million. You want to pay him this much? We're not really feeling that. I don't got to get rid of him right now. So, last year things were fast and furious with free agency and Barry bringing everybody in right away. This year's been a totally different concept for him. He's been real slow with how he's done things, right? So you'll hear a bunch of rumors, a bunch of information about a specific player, and then it kind of teeters a little bit. It kind of fades out, and then boom, they come back into play. So I think he just likes to take his time, and I think that's where we as fans kind of forget that they don't have to get rid of him yet. It's not he's an asset that they don't have to give away. So they're trying to do something so they don't have to give him away. And I think that's really what this comes down to, is he probably just is slowballing it, honestly. I mean, he's just waiting to see what he has and what he gets offered and what he feels is the best deal for him.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, if anything, they're locked into $18 million right now, unless another team takes him. Right. So are you getting rid of the asset? No, you're absolutely right. They're hanging on to him. It's not it's not Baker, it's the Browns. Like
you're also forgetting that we could be eligible for a comp pick depending on what happens after we hold on to him, because we know that Andrew Berry is strategically compiling comp picks because he likes to get as many darts to throw in the third round as possible, because he knows he can find guys in the third round. And comp picks are picks that you can basically generate just by structuring the way you do business just a little bit, to have some sort of strategy about when you acquire and let go of players. So, it's kind of like free picks for him in his mind, I'm sure. Justin, thanks for joining the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. How about yourselves?
Welcome,
outstanding, buddy. All right. So I know you had something a little bit to say earlier about whether or not Baker should suit back up for the Browns. What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
I mean, I really can't blame him. I mean, I don't think that the coaching staff, or I don't think he can trust the coaching staff to get him a good showing, to get a decent deal with another team. I don't think him not getting offers or Cleveland not getting offers for him is other owners trying to punish the Browns. It's more they know that Cleveland has nothing left to do with them because of how they handled him. I mean, that's no worse than like you having a girlfriend and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to go out with her, see if she's better. And then come back and like, oh no, she didn't work out. Let's get back to it.
Let's just pretend nothing ever happened.
It's funny. These people are screaming like professionalism, and they steal from their jobs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like like he's a human being.
There is almost nobody. All right, there is almost nobody that if they were treated at their job how Baker was treated, that they wouldn't act the same way Baker's acting. They'd probably actually behave worse, if you're asking me. So, a lot of people can say whatever they want about him, but I don't know. I don't think people would handle the situation any better.
I mean, I know a guy that got fired from the restaurant for climbing on the roof and throwing a sheet tray of raw rolls at customers in the parking lot.
Was it a Texas Roadhouse? Because those rolls can't get wasted.
Okay.
It was not.
It's just not a fast process. I mean, the NFL is slow. Everything takes time. I'm almost positive I saw a report on Twitter that Clowney said that the deal was done like 2 weeks ago, that they just didn't finalize things until recently. So, I mean, it's just how it works. There's so many ins and outs to the contract and so many numbers and so many stipulations and incentives and things of that nature. They don't just pick the phone up one day and go, hey, this is the Jets. Hey, this is the Browns. I'm going to give you this for Baker. All right, man. Good deal. Talk to you later. It just doesn't happen like that. Yeah. The talks are ongoing constantly, and it just takes time, man.
I think Seattle would be a good place for Baker, though.
I think so too. I think he would succeed there. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be top 10, top 15 type good quarterback there, but I think he would do well there.
Speaking of work and things like that, Redleg, I know that you specialize in certain areas of history. I don't know if you're a Browns historian, but hopefully somebody can help me out with this. Somebody at the Remax Edge Realty, the JC Group, asked me if I wanted this jersey before they took it to the Goodwill. And as you can see, it is a orange Cribs jersey.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I got to try to figure out who all signatures these are. So
all you gotta do is take pictures of them and put it on Twitter. Browns Twitter will have that done in 10 minutes, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to do that. I also got a Winslow one that was signed. Also, I didn't want to tell her that I can't wear that one anymore.
Who takes a signed jersey to Goodwill? Like,
I don't know. She's like, my husband doesn't want this anymore. We were just gonna take it to the Goodwill. It doesn't fit him anymore. He was wearing it apparently. I'm not wearing this.
Frame that. Frame that, hang on the wall.
Yeah, frame that thing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
All right, sold.
So about a month ago, there was a hat on eBay. It was a Brown signed hat. It was an older style hat, right? And I saw like the signature could make out. Seller had no idea. So I started looking up teams, looking up names and whatever. Figure out what year it was. It was 99, the return season. Had everyone figure out for him. Sent the seller a message. Hey man, this hat is from this year. This is the guys who are on the team at this point. This is what they are. Replies back. Oh great, cool. Doesn't update the listing on eBay. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, come on. Like, I know all the names.
It's his money, man.
Yeah, right. Like, I can't lead a horse to water. We can't make it free.
Yeah, frame that thing up and put it right behind you, dude.
That's what I got to do. I still don't have all my, the last spot where my studio desk area was at was I had it all set up and it was good. And then I moved studios. I still haven't put everything up. Nothing's been hung on the walls yet. So I got I can do whatever I want in here. So we'll see what happens. Yep. Justin has artwork behind him now. And the lamp. He didn't have those before. He was just getting done painting the room, I think. The last time.
Is that a little Febreze right there behind you, Justin, on the thing? Is that what that is there, bud?
Let's see. That is Lysol.
Oh, okay. That's close.
Because I've got the cat litter box in here too.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How a little thing can smell so bad. I don't know.
Dude, I've got two of the exact same lamps in my living room right now.
All right. So, does anybody have anything else they want to bring to the table before we wrap this up?
Let's see.
Anything. The wheels are turning.
Let's see. I mean, it's like I said, it's really kind of a slow news week. They were talking about the Browns having so many running backs and who's going to get trimmed. I know that's an ongoing discussion, but it's almost like there's a parallel between Dearness Johnson and Baker right now. Johnson can start somewhere. It's a matter of it's actually literally the same. Think about it that way. They have the same kind of assets. He could be a starter somewhere. But that whole who they cut, who they're going to keep. I mean, we're so early, but I just don't know.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting because I think that if anybody's in danger in the running back room with the addition of Ford, I think it's going to be Johnson or Felton. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of how Felton fits for the team. I like Johnson a lot better, so I'm on the side of the boat that thinks that he could be more in danger of losing his spot on the team than Johnson would be. But, again, he's an asset that they're going to hold on to until they get an offer that they can't refuse for the guy. And, somebody's going to be down a running back somewhere and, that's how they're going to trim it down. But I mean, who knows? It's going to be interesting to see how they do it, but I don't think it's going to be affecting Kareem or, obviously Chubb at all.
See, I could really see him dealing Kareem just to free up some extra space with all that money they're giving Watson.
I don't see it.
And all those draft picks they give up for him, they've got to recoup that some way.
Yeah.
It's one of those things with Kareem. I think they're going to run his wheels off, especially considering that Chubb is signed beyond when Kareem's going to be here. And he's getting up there a little bit in age. They both are, which is concerning because that, they're not old guys, but running back's a different story when it comes to that. So, I think that they are going to use them while they have them. They've got them on the cheap. They robbed a bank when they signed both these guys. For what they're making, they robbed a bank, in my opinion. Especially when you look at guys like Zeke. I would take both Hunt or Chubb over Zeke. There's other running backs that are making more money that I would hands down take Chubb or Hunt over. I think they're going to use them as much as they can. They are going to squeeze the production out of them because they're a tremendous value. Johnson, I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to flip him for something because something's better than nothing. And, when it comes to Felton's probably going to be more wide receiver than running back. I think we'll be talking about him in a different light. I'm not saying that earns him a spot on the roster, but I think they're going to put him more in a hybrid role if he sees the field, which is tough because there's only so many snaps, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, we don't have very many wide receivers right now, so you might as well give it to the running backs.
Right.
I'm really intrigued by this Ford kid. The more that I watch some of his playing time in college, the more I get excited about Ford. He's definitely got room to grow. He's got some things he needs to improve on. But Ryan, what do you think of Ford?
He's a heck of a back, man. He's strong. He's explosive. Runs in between the tackles. He can run off tackle. He runs away from guys. He runs over guys. I mean, he's a good back. Altogether. Obviously, you could see them replacing Chubb and Hunt down the line as they're getting older. But they've got him on such cheap contracts that it doesn't make sense right now. And Hunt's so dynamic in this offense that, especially with someone like Watson, it's just a no-brainer for me. But Ford he's a great addition to the room. I think he's got guys in front of him that are going to be extremely good to learn from. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think he's probably going to. He'll make the team, and I don't know how it works for running backs if they can get put on practice squad and come off of that or whatnot. But he'll be on the team, and he'll be there to learn from these guys. And who knows, he could be the incumbent one day. But it just depends. But we'll see.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee a 5th round pick's going to make the team, but you know, the way running backs are valued and the value you can get on them versus the draft pick that you take them at, I think they have a plan for them. So we'll see what happens. With that, we're going to close out a little bit early today. Join us next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. We are the Dawgs Table Roundtable Discussion Show, brought to you by Labatt Blue, Remax Edge Realty of the JC Group, and we are part of Team Big Play. Until next time, go Browns.
Craig,
Go Browns.
I have a surprise for you, or a present for you.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Look at that. Look at that. All right. Barry didn't come back soon enough. Did you get, isn't there a whole series? Did you get the rest of them?
Not of the Hookers and Blow, but I actually just did a reading of one a couple weeks ago on YouTube. Susie likes to look at balls.
Oh, jeez.
Just to give you an idea of this, it starts off with Tiger Woods and Michael Jackson.
Oh, Lord.
Tiger's balls
goodness.
are small and white, just like Michael Jackson's. These two guys are socialites. They both see lots of action. Tiger puts his balls in holes and keeps them out of sand, while Michael probably shows his balls to boys at Neverland.
Oh my God.
Lord.
Yes.
Oh,
We're gonna
my
get us
goodness.
kicked off of this platform, man. Jesus.
So for those of you that haven't,
one of the first season of that.
so for those of you that haven't watched the show for a long time, I mean, we've been around the block now. We started this show in 2020. It's been, for the most part, a weekly show the entire time. Barry, who you saw earlier on the episode today, he is also known to many as Hookers and Blow Barry. He is a free spirits. That's one way of putting it. Redleg, I don't know if there's a better way to describe him. You've gotten to meet him in person, but most people have no words for how to describe Barry. Anyways, you know, when we found out there was a Christmas book, and Justin, if I remember correctly, you brought this to everybody's attention. There was a Christmas book called Hookers and Blow Save Christmas. Yes. And it's really a what's the cover of that? It's a tow truck.
It's a tow truck and a snowplow.
Okay, so Hookers, yeah. So, you know, it's clearly a pun, but we were gonna get Barry to read it for our Christmas episode. It didn't happen. So this year we'll have to remember to have Barry and or Justin read us some children's books on Christmas. So, all right. Well, that's one way to go out. Appreciate you, Justin. Appreciate you, Redleg. With that, we're out. Until next time, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Later.